What's been the best investment that you've made in your business so far?
Oh man, I think like that best slash more scary one was probably I think it was like the first mastermind that we really joined for sure. Like we were moving from at that point at my job, I was pretty capped out. Some new person came in, we were bumping heads. I was dedicating a lot more time to the side hustle. Wife was finishing school, pregnant. There was a lot of pressure around. And I was like, okay, I think it's time to move. And the decision came where I quit my job. And I was like, okay, the environment helped me. I got to put myself in an environment that's going to push me a little bit further, right? So we made a significant investment at the time. My wife told me, hey, the only way that you can do this full time with me agreeing is we need to have enough money in the bank for a year until graduation. She's a pharmacist now, and then you can do the thing. And she didn't really care where the money came from. She was like, we just need that amount. And so I went out and I applied for a bunch of personal loans, got the money from like 5 different loans, showed her the bank account, and she's like, sweet. So I quit in September. That same weekend, we ended up in a mastermind event in Idaho, very far away from Florida, and we ended up investing half the amount of what I took out for the full year into this program.
How much was it?
It was about $25,000.
$25,000. So at this point, had you ever put money into yourself to any sort of that degree?
Probably the most we did until then was about $1,600 in a master class.
Yeah.
And we were in this event and we felt like these were our people and we thought like this was going to push us forward, and we just felt like very motivated. The belief was there. We immediately had conversations in that environment about the product that we were going to sell, and we got leads from there. So we're like, it's possible, right? So then it happens. We started selling. We started executing on the products, and then COVID happened. That was like 2020, like right there. And every single account that we had except one closed doors 4 months in. And we're like, we had 60 days of runway. My wife had no idea I did this. Like, she's like, oh, they're working, they're doing fine. And that's when it got like really, really scary, because we had 60 days to kind of figure this out and continue to move the needle forward, because we had to change our entire model. We were selling to small businesses in town, so everybody closed. And we're like, man, we have to evolve. But just the fact of having that experience, not only like maybe not a lot of the material that was taught in the mastermind, but put it in the position of, hey, I have to pay this investment back. While is a very high pressure environment, it pushed me to levels that I never thought. It created that pressure to kind of move forward, and it really helped us. And that's literally what kickstarted everything. That's what gave us the idea of the podcast, that then it evolved into what we do now.
What did you do when COVID hit and you had to readjust everything?
First couple seconds, freaked the heck out. My brother came in. We had a little office, and he came in and almost like emotionally slapped me. And he's like, "Go walk it out, walk it off."
Yeah.
And I think it was probably equally or more worried. And when we came back, we're like, okay. At the time, we're offering like multiple different services, and we're almost like glorified freelancers. At the time, we had no team, no nothing, and we're already having the conversation to kind of niche down into one thing. So the conversation was already happening, as in we need to evolve and simplify things so we can scale the service itself. So we're like, well, let's see it as an opportunity. We had 60 days to really turn this around, and we don't have customers anymore. So our time is back. We can now execute on the thing that we wanted to do. So it was almost like a blessing in disguise, right? Because then we really focused on what we wanted to do. We wrote them in that same afternoon. We wrote it on the whiteboard, the 6 things that we're doing. And we're like, let's pick one that we both feel very strong. And that's what we did. And we started sending messages, sending DMs to people that we knew, and we're like, hey, can we send you an example? This is what we do. Can we send you a sample? Can we hop on a call and show you a demo? And within a couple of days, we ended up closing our next client.
What was the niche that you picked?
Multi-purposing content. So we're like, we're really good at the production side. We had a system that we created out of necessity, because the businesses that we're selling to, we will go on location and we'll shoot content for the entire month, because they didn't want to handle any of that. So production wise, the back end looked really well, but we were selling product to the wrong customer, right? Like they were, so we're like, let's have the framework be the niche, as in like people that need this, like they're already creating, they already have a solid offer, they already have some cash flow. and let's apply it to that. So it just happened that there were people that were already publishing podcasts for a while. Yeah. Maybe they didn't have a team, an internal team. Maybe they were tired to outsourcing this thing, and we were able and reliably giving them this content because we knew we could deliver. So we're like, let's put a goal of these 3 people, and then we look to hire somebody to kind of help us out with that. And then it was a lot easier because of 1 service versus 6.
So first you changed your mindset at the very beginning. Yep. Then you invested heavily into changing your environment, which is highly, highly underrated. Most people are not in an environment where they get to meet a bunch of people who are like-minded, who have similar beliefs to the ones that they have, even though you might think those beliefs are crazy. All those people also thought those beliefs were crazy until they got in a room with a bunch of other people that thought they weren't crazy. And when you can finally normalize those like crazy beliefs, then you can start to free up the mental space to then be able to solve the problems that are being presented to you, which is exactly what happened. And a lot of times it can be really difficult when you come across that first big obstacle, because, this is where the rubber meets the road, and a lot of people just can't take it.